All right, my third favorite squat variation. This one's helped me out quite a bit. It's a little controversial, but I think the controversy isn't in the actual movement, it's in the application, okay? Box squats are fantastic, similarly to a pause squat, for practicing change of direction from a dead stop. The main difference being that you can decompress completely on the box, keeping the upper back, the midsection very tight. You can relax your hip flexors, completely sit on the box, and then fire up from a dead stop. That is great for conditioning rate of force development under heavy loads from a dead stop, which is a great way to round out your squats, which are always done loaded into the bottom with stretch reflex, with a quick change of direction. Now, when we box squat, we want to emphasize more vertical change of direction. We don't want to rock back and then rock forward. So if you squat like I do, if you are a medium stance upright squatter, you are going to find that it's very hard to stay very upright the entire time and get a strong start off the box. Your positioning is going to be a little off. So I actually recommend, and I think you will get the most benefit from a box if you do go wider, if you do engage your hips more, because we're interested in opening up so we can stay upright, sit completely, and then fire up. It's that kick off the box that you're looking for. You want to eliminate any rocking whatsoever. If you even have the subtlest run forward before you kick off the box, that's something you want to try and address and fix. Once you get comfortable leaping straight off the box, you're going to notice your hips are going to be so much damn stronger than they were at the start. And it's going to be a good sign that they were probably lagging a little bit when it came to that first impulse when changing direction. Again, it's going to give you a bigger margin for error at the bottom of your squat. It's also great deadlift accessory. It is a really good deadlift movement. So application, okay, wider stance, hips back. You want to focus on clearing your knees out of the way. Think about keeping your shins vertical and letting your hips track back. Now, what I always tell people, even there, that's kind of a low box. So my instinct as I sat was to sit back. That's something you want to avoid. What I always tell people is find a position where if that box were to disappear, you would still be able to support your own weight. As I come down and rock back, if that box disappears, I'm flying backwards. So with a bar on my back, I'm coming down, knees out, 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 out. Now things are really tight. I relax my hip flexors and I push the ground away and kick my hips through. This is actually a bit lower than I normally box squat to. The lower the box is, the more application I think it has for explosive movements like running and jumping, because you have more range, which is more time to accelerate through the entire movement. When it comes to moving weight, you want to experience load. And at a certain depth, you're really not going to get any load moving from that depth. It's going to have less carryover to your competitive movements just based off the percentages you'll have to use. So people have gotten really, really good results from going right to parallel, if even a little above parallel. Kristen Rhodes is a really good example. I mean, she did a 450 front squat to a high box, about 2 or 3 inches high. And she does all of her squat work. I think she's been into the 600-pound range to a box that's a little bit high. And because she's a strongman, she doesn't have to develop a specific powerlifting squat. She has been able to find variations that are more applicable to general strength development. So going a little bit higher, she's been able to optimize that intersection between how much range you're going through and how much load you're handling. And she handles a ton of weight. And it shows in all of her performances. She's a huge deadlifter. She is just nasty on moving events. She's nasty on loading events. She's very, very strong, very well-rounded. And I've actually gone as far as to recommend slightly high box squats for some of our power lifters because there is that much carryover. Remember, we're interested not necessarily in mimicking your squat here. We're interested in developing hip power, a sense of where you're strongest at the bottom and exactly how the musculature of the hips kick you off that box and get you going again. So that's where the meat and potatoes is. So because we're not interested in mirroring our squat specifically, I actually take the opportunity with these to add a bit more variety. Our stance is different, our descent is different, the way we move off the box a little bit different. So this is where I'll take the opportunity to use different bars. We'll use a safety bar, a cambered bar. Cambered bars, you can pull the weight back, keep the weight closer to your hips. So with things like good mornings and box squats, you feel the weight in your hips a lot more as you pull the weight back on a cambered bar. It's the exact opposite with a safety bar. The bend in the bar shifts the weight forward. So as you go to come up, it's almost like a front squat. You're focusing on trying to keep that weight that's displaced in front of you back. So that's a lot better for targeting your upper back, your midsection a bit. You can play with height. Like I said, lower heights are going to be a little more athletic. That's better for general speed development, which might have its place with some of you. I recommend going a bit higher if you are trying to get just pure nasty strength development. So this height's a bit more appropriate. It's right around parallel for me, if not a little bit higher. But as I take the bar back, feet wider, again, knees out, I'm braced, I'm tight. I want to be moving at the hip, not the spine. I'm focusing on keeping my knees back and I'm opening up. Knees are coming out, so I have a place to drop down. Right now I'm stable, I'm supported. I squeeze at the last moment, I brace, and I fire my hips up and through. So when you're new to these, you're really gonna find that the kick right off the box is the hardest part. As you get better at that, you're gonna find that once you get the bar moving, it locks out regardless. This really makes it tougher right off the box. And with the squat in general, the change of direction, the point at the very bottom where you change direction, is the most important part. So if your setup is off, if your positioning's off, if you're not tight at the bottom, if anything goes wrong at the bottom of the squat, you're done. So by reinforcing that position, you're gonna find the rest of the squats a lot easier. Down the road, as you get better, if I add bands to anything, this is a movement I'll add bands to, because you have the difficulty of the kick off the box with straight weight, and then you accommodate the strength curve by adding tension at the top. I don't use bands a lot, but this, if I do throw them on a movement, this is it. But I strongly recommend getting comfortable with that kick off the box first, and then as you develop down the road, throwing bands on it. And just like anything else, you're gonna change the variation as time goes on. You'll incorporate different variations for set periods of time and then cycle them in and out. But if this is a staple in your training, I promise you, your start on your deadlifts, your stability in your squats are gonna be a lot better. Thanks for watching, guys. If there's anything I didn't cover, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box. If you have any questions, better yet, go ahead and sign up for our forum. We're closing in on 1,000 members and I want it to keep growing. We got a lot of good people there, a lot of good information. Go ahead and start a training log, leave a lifting video, start a thread, ask a question. Be controversial. On the Empire Barbell Forum, there are no sacred cows, okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Bromley at Empire Barbell. I'll see you.